Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion, and this here is the crazy troll nation of YouTube. The crazy because I'm a little bit nutty, and I do consider myself a troll. That's crazy, right? And the troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to feel like you need to use a certain tool or a certain brand or a certain technique. Use whatever you want to use, however you want to use it, because you need to be satisfied with how your makeup looks. And beneath all of that, here we are about self-acceptance and self-love, embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but not feeling like you have to. Love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even without face paint on. I do curse sometimes on my channel because I do curse sometimes in real life. And so if you are here for the first time, welcome. I hope you find this enjoyable. If you are returning, y'all know I appreciate each and every one of you. So this video is just a quick declutter because I have stuff sitting here. I was going to do a declutter review haul video all in one like I did last month, but I got so much stuff to show y'all for the haul video. I am overwhelmed. So I said, let's just do the quick declutter on its own so I can show you what I am getting rid of. What I'm getting rid of, I never opened it. The NC43 Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation. I have one of these along with the NC42, both unopened, brand new, in my Macquarie store, and I think I might put this in there as well. The one I had open, I did declutter it. Sometimes it looked perfect, sometimes it looked too peachy, and I didn't like that guessing game, and so I decluttered the one that was open, and this was a backup that I had from when they had like a 30% off sale or something at the Mac store. But I just don't like the guessing game, and I have enough stuff without wondering, what is this going to look like today? You know what I mean? So that's going to go. This I'm getting rid of. Both of these are NYX retractable eyeliners. This one is in silver, and it just does not wind up. I don't know where it went. And I can see it in there. So I don't know like what happened to it, but I can see it, but it's just not winding up. And so that's decluttered because I can't use it. This one is in Snatched and it does wind up. However, I realized the last few times that I used it, it irritated my lower lash line. And when I used it on my lower waterline, it irritated that too. And last time I used this on my lower lash line, that next day, it looked like water balloons under my eyes. Like, so I'm like, okay, this is just old. And I didn't even have it that long. The POA on the NYX retractable eyeliners are 24 months after you open it. And I have not had this for 24 months, but this is bad. And the reaction was horrible. It lasted for like 2 days. This one came in a subscription box, and the brand is Queen, and it is an eyeliner. It does not irritate my lower lash line. It always makes that noise. And it does not irritate my lower waterline. However, it's not retractable. Is it? Wait a minute. Is it turning up? No, it's not turning up. Because I just pulled it and it came off. So what? Oh, you know what? It's glue here. So I don't think this was supposed to come off. Uh-oh. I was going to say I was going to declutter it. I'm trying to see if it winds up, and it's not looking like it is. I do believe you can sharpen it, but I was going to declutter it because I'm always paranoid. I'm still turning it and it does not look like it's coming up. Or maybe it's just really slow. Actually, I think it is. But if this does not twist up, I am going to declutter it because I'm always paranoid about sharpening gel liners and then putting them on my waterline, because I have had pieces of liner flake off and get caught like under there, and it was just horrible. And so if I have to sharpen an eyeliner, particularly if I'm using it for my waterline, I will not, and I'll just not buy it, or if it comes in a subscription box, I'll throw it away. And that's what I like about the NYX ones, is that they are retractable. You can twist them up and you can twist them down, and they never irritate until they start getting old, which some of them, it seems at about a year mark, they start to irritate my eyes. The black irritates my waterline, but not my lower lash line. And also the deep purple irritated my waterline, but not my lower lash line. So this one, if it is going to twist up, I will keep using it for my lower waterline. But if it doesn't, excuse me for that, then I will just declutter it, because again, whatever this is, sometimes it isn't smooth. The casing around it usually is no longer smooth when I sharpen it, and also sometimes the point will flake off in my eye, and that's not good. So I learned that the hard way. I am decluttering the Ghostin from Revolution, the black one. I really liked how it looked on, but I realized that is not this. This is the MAC Retro Matte Liquid Lip Color in Caviar. When I first used this one, I really liked it, but then I realized as it dries down, it doesn't dry even. So it might look patchy. And whereas with the MAC, if I look at it and say, okay, this is a little lighter, I can just put more here and it'll still look the same throughout my lips. Whereas this one, if you apply more somewhere, it's noticeable. It doesn't dry down even. And also, when it dries, the interior of my lip in here, where you see the line between the black and the pink, like here you don't, looks really good. I know it's a bomb ass lip. But when I talk, or if I'm, then you see the pink, it would look flaky. So this would dry down and be really dry to where it would look flaky. And there's sometimes when the outer corners, oop, I just touched my lip. It would get flaky to the point where if I go like this, it would flake off on my tongue. And I'm like, that's just gross. So I'm getting rid of that. I got it from either TJ Maxx or Marshalls, and it came with a lip liner. I am keeping the lip liner. And I think it might have been like $4. And so it wasn't expensive at all. But this has got to go. And I already threw away the red one. Pat McGrath Labs Fetish Eyes Mascara. For several reasons. Well, at least two. The wand is so big, it took me a long time to even use it where the inside part wasn't hitting my nose. And then once I got excited, like, oh, I can now use it without it tapping, then it was hitting under here. Like, this is just too big. And also I noticed every time I use this mascara, my eyes would burn. There are some mascaras where if it's brand new, my eyes may burn, but then it'll stop by the end of the video. This, my eyes would continue to burn. So it's something in this formula that is just too strong for my eyes. And I don't know, and I don't even really want to say it's a scent to it, but it's just something in here that it just makes my eyes burn. And it's weird because it's on my lashes, not on like, well, you know what, I guess it is on my lower waterline, because sometimes when I put on mascara, I can feel it tapping on my waterline. And so it's something in her mascara that just doesn't jive well with me. And I purchased this one and the full size one when she had one of her sales, and it was a good sale. And I said, let me try the mini first to see if I like it. And I'm glad I tried the mini because my eyes don't like it. So the full size will be going somewhere. These three items, all for the same reason. This is the MAC. This came one of two items for my birthday last year. And it also came with the Glow Play, which I might as well. I should probably declutter it too because I just don't ever use it. But for whatever reason, I'm holding on to it. This is sheer. This does not apply this color. For me, it applies like a non-color and it feels like chapstick. And I think that's why I kept this, because it's like, oh, it's just another chapstick. But this is the Glow Play blush, and the shade is Rosie Does It. It's a beautiful shade. It applies really well. It looks really pretty. I'm tempted to put some on to show you. Y'all, look at this cheek situation. But that is not this. I'm tempted to put it on to show you, but I'm not. I realized I am not a cream blush bronzer gal. And so even though I liked how this looks, I just was never reaching for it. I just prefer powder products. And so instead of it just sitting here, excuse me, I'm like, I'm just going to declutter it. The same reason for the Keys Soul Care Sheer Flush Cheek Tint. It's a pretty color. It is not this dark, y'all. This is so friggin' sheer, and it does say Sheer Flush Cheek Tint. And it is pretty. It's barely there. It's a natural look if you just want to look like you just, you know, been out in the sun, or somebody, you know, lightly pinched your cheeks or something. One reason I didn't grab for it is because I need a small brush to fit in here. Whereas this one is this big. You can put any kind of blush brush in here for cream products, but this one, it is just so small. And also, I'm just not into cream blushes, and to have to be particular about the brush I use, trying to get it in here, applying it, and because I would have to use a smaller brush, I wouldn't say blush, it would take me a longer time because I got puffy cheeks. I got all this I need to cover. So using a small brush, it was taking me a while, and it was looking patchy, so I would have to keep going in and applying it, which if you use your fingers, that may or may not be a problem. I'm too messy to use my fingers for makeup. I just refuse. And so I decided I'm going to declutter this. The POA on these, I think, is 6 months. And so I think I'm just going to throw this away because I have my label here, because label whore, hi, says this expires May 2nd of this year, and today is March 16th. So I think I'm gonna just throw this away. This does have life in it, so I'm going to see if someone wants it, someone who knows that I'm sanitary. But yeah, but this is going in the trash. Lovecraft Beauty came in a subscription box. This is for eyes and your cheeks and your lips. I was encouraged to try it, and I did look at videos of people trying it, and this shade is Quasar Goo. It is a really pretty bronzy shade on me, but again, cream products, I'm just not into cream blushes, and it is really pretty. I don't have a label on here of when it expires, and so for that reason, this is going to go in the trash too. And so the point of this is to be realistic about what types of products you enjoy. Some people love cream blushes, bronzers, contours. I realized with these products, I just don't. And it's not even the particular brand. I just don't prefer cream blushes, bronzers, and contours. And I had to be honest with myself because I do like how they all looked on me. They were just sitting here and I'm like, I'm not going to use them. I'm just not into it. Another thing I'm just going to get rid of is the Bite mascara that came in a subscription box. I'm indifferent about it. I mean, it applied well. I didn't have an issue with it. It didn't irritate any of my allergies. But there's other mascaras that I just like better. And this is just sitting. I'm not picking it up. And so if it's just going to sit, it can just go in the trash. And again, just being realistic, am I going to use it? The other two, well, one surprised me. Both of these are Estee Lauder concealers. This one is 3W. They're concealers. I can wear the 4N2 or the 4W1 all year round. May or may not need a bronzer. And for their concealers, it corresponds with their foundation. And so because I wear the 4N2, I purchased the 4N2 concealer. And also because I wear the 4W1, I purchased the 4W1 concealer. And because, you know, you can use a lighter concealer to brighten your under eye. And so I also purchased the 3W. And this one is the Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer. This is too brightening for me. I don't want to brighten up my under eye area because that's not how I naturally look. I do have under eye discoloration. I don't mind it still showing through because to me that looks natural because I have under eye discoloration. I do like to try to even out just a little bit more, but I don't necessarily want to brighten because for me, even if it looks nice, to me it doesn't look like me. Like it's just too bright because my under eye is not naturally bright. And I have not used this in a long time. Their foundations, the POA is 24 months after you open it. And for their concealers, for the Stay in Place Flawless Wear, the POA is 24 months. And that's another reason I like the Estee Lauder foundations is because I do actually use the entire thing because it lasts so long. But this one, the 3W, I don't remember when I last used it. And again, it's because I don't like how bright it makes my under eye look. If you like brightening your under eye area and you use the Estee Lauder and you use the corresponding concealer shade and you go a shade lighter, I think you would really like how it looks. But for me, I don't like how it looks for me. So it's been sitting here That noise you heard, was it going into my makeup trash? I was curious also about the Estee Lauder Double Wear Radiant Concealer, and I purchased 4N. Again, I used the 4N foundation, and in the Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless, I also have the 4N. And so I said, let me try the 4N in the Radiant. I do not like how this looks under my eye. It was a little more brightening than the 3W. And it doesn't look good here. When I put the 4N, the Longwear one under here, well, around my nose area where it's usually red, it blends in and it looks good. This one makes it look a little funky because it does have that radiance to it. But again, if you want radiance in your under eye area, I think you would really like the Estee Lauder Double Wear Radiant Concealer. But because it's not a good thing for here, and because I don't like what it does under here, this has been sitting. And what's interesting is that for the Radiant ones, the POA is 6 months, whereas the Longwear yada 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 is 24 months. And my label says this expires May 2023. But because I don't like how it looks in this area or under here and it's sitting here, that's going to go in the trash too. I'm on the fence. I'm going to keep it for now. So this is not a Declutter. Is the Rare Beauty 360W foundation. I finally know how to use it, excuse me if you heard that, to where it doesn't look too golden for me, and that's to use less. I was using way too much. I don't like the ball thing because I can't, like my other foundations, if I want to sit it down, I can just sit it down. You can't sit this, it's going to roll. And so then I have to do this while I'm blending out to see if I want to apply more. But the first few times I use it, I like swiped it everywhere. And it does oxidize, and it oxidizes brighter than it looks. It oxidizes a little bit lighter, which was strange to me because usually when foundations oxidize on me, they oxidize and look a little bit darker, or it might oxidize a little more red. But this oxidized lighter. But I realized when I just do taps, instead of like smearing it all over and then blend it out, I really like how it looks. The reason I'm on the fence about, I should say, repurchasing this, the Sephora sale's coming up. I am Rouge. And so I was thinking, you know, I'd order another one. But because I like the Fenty so much, which is a really good match, and I have both of the Estee Lauders, I'm like, do I need a third foundation? Yes, y'all, only 3. And the only ones open right now is the Fenty and this one. I'm not the type that will have like 10 foundations. And as far as trying, you know, a bunch of new ones, I don't, because they have fragrance in them that'll break me out, irritate my nasal and eye allergies, yada, yada, yada. So I'm very particular about what to try. But because I have the Fenty in the shade that's a perfect match, and the Estee Lauders, 2 different ones that I can wear all year round, do I need a third foundation? Yes, sometimes I get bored and it's like, okay, Fenty again, Estee Lauder again. And so it is nice just to have something different. But what I don't like about it is, regardless of what I do, it cracks up under my eyes. Whereas the Fenty doesn't and the Estee Lauder doesn't. And even when I set it, and I do have it on today, it will crease under my eyes. And yes, I have under eye wrinkles. Yes, I have under eye bags. But it's something about this one that it will settle in and accentuate my wrinkles. Now, if I blow out my shadow on my lower lash line, it does camouflage it some. But I have to really figure out, like, am I okay with it looking like this? Or do I want to just stick with the other 2 foundations that I have, the Fenty and the Estee Lauder? And also, I realized with this one, I can see more texture in this area. And yes, this is textured because I'm still having breakout issues. The dermatologist sent me a steroid cream for around my nose and in my laugh lines. And she sent me another cream for like here. And I remember a while ago I was saying I was having like a breakout. And I'm like, what the frick is happening? And so I am using those 2 new prescription products. But even still, the Fenty wasn't accentuating my laugh lines where it's cracked up. It wasn't accentuating all this texture that you see, whereas the Rare Beauty one does. And so if you don't have these texture issues, and it is only temporary, it's from wearing a mask. Yes, y'all, March 2023, I'm still wearing a mask. So if I didn't have the texture issues, this part would be better, but I'm still going to have under eye wrinkles, and it just accentuates that. So I'm on the fence about this. This came in a subscription box. It was my choice. I am happy with the shade that I have, but if I did just want another foundation, this may or may not be it, because of the wrinkles and the texture thing. So that is it for this declutter. I have something else here that I'm just not sure about, but I'll save that for another video. And yeah, so just a quick declutter. Yeah, so thank you for being here. Let me know what you think about these products. Let me know if you're a cream or powder, blush, bronzer type person. And if you have the Rare Beauty foundation, let me know what you think about that, especially if you have lines, wrinkles, and texture issues. Like, does it work for you? And I use the same primer for whatever, except when I use the Fenty, I do use the Fenty primer. And so maybe I just need another primer, but I don't want to get into needing a certain primer with a certain foundation just to make it work, because then that's just buying more products, and I like to keep my collection small. So that'll be it for this video. Thank you for being here. As always, self-acceptance, self-love, that is the Crazy Troll Nation way. I appreciate you, and you will see me soon.